Call the Alan Cox Show.
Eat that, you piece of crap.
216-578-1007 or 1-800-348-1007.
35192 and send me a text. These guys are coming to play for you, Lamb of God. They're doing that show out at Jacobs Pavilion on August the 9th with Mastodon. I think we got tickets for you to win if you go to WMMS.com. We do a metal show here on The Buzzard. We are actually presenting that show. It's called 2 Hours to Midnight. It's tomorrow night. Every Saturday night, we do nothing but metal for 2 hours. It's me, along with Corey Roddick and Pat Butler. And between the three of us, boy, do we put on a hootenanny. And so tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, join us. Play local stuff, play brand new stuff, play classics. So maybe some Lamb of God, maybe some Mastodon tomorrow night, whatever else we can throw in. And then Sunday morning, in my quest to have my voice on this radio station every day of the week, Sunday morning, Bill and Pound Cake host The Week in Cox. That's more of a collective effort, though. That is 2 hours of the best stuff from the week. You know, all condensed from 8 to 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings. And Bill and Pound Cake get up very early.
Do we get a pass this Sunday if we come in drunk?
Are you going to be drunk at 8 a.m.?
It's St. Patrick's Day.
Nevertheless, are you going to be drunk at 8 a.m.?
Possibly.
Then, yeah, you get. Hey, listen, whatever you want to do with it, you do with it. I hand you the segments, and then you guys do whatever you want to with them. So if you find yourself drunk at 8 a.m.
That is not uncommon for St. Patrick's Day.
But is that uncommon for you? I mean, you're somebody who, if you had your druthers, wouldn't even get up until noon.
Yes, but if
So it seems unlikely you'd be drunk at 8 a.m.
Yeah, but if a hoe's offering me a free drink, then I'm up at 8 a.m.
Oh, if somebody goes, hey,
Just
come
for a
meet
free
us.
drink?
Free drinks.
If a hoe
Drinks.
is
Oh.
offering him a free drink,
Yeah.
Bill.
Plural.
A hoe.
They're like, listen, I would buy you a free drink, but you got to be up at this time. Otherwise, you can't do it. I'm like, guess I'm getting up at 6.
You're not doing the 5K?
No.
I don't know.
I barely did the 5K when I did the 5K.
Oh, okay. That is true.
Bill, I don't know what you were trying to prove back then, but you're like, I'm actually gonna run. I'm like, you good, go ahead, run. It was just me and Douchey back there.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, they're really taking this seriously.
Well, yeah.
I had
Alan did it in like 8 minutes.
He was getting on, I didn't even count him.
Alan's sprinting.
He wasn't even with us. I was just like, so Douchey, how's the love life? She's like, how's yours? I'm like, how's yours?
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's a good time.
We were power walking. We were those old queens in the
I just
mall.
wanted a drink, so I just
Old
was like, all right, let's
queen.
get over with. I want to go get a drink.
Yeah. Well, we're still doing it. It's fun. I wish we were doing something for St. Pat's, but we're not, because the leap year jammed us up. And
You want to come hang out at Old 86?
normally, well, I think Polk's doing something,
Yeah,
so we
Polk's
may
usually
kind of
good,
poke
yeah.
our head in there first.
Oh, yeah, you got
and-
the Sons of
Stepdads of Galway.
At the Winchester with Twos and Polk and
Yeah.
Joe Briggs and all those guys.
I'd like to
That's a
make
fun
it to
show.
that, but we usually do make it to the Polk thing first.
Yeah.
But what's going on at Old 86?
On
Sunday?
Sunday, they just open at noon, and we're going to be selling some shirts for the podcast rebrand.
So,
Taking advantage of Pants being a graphic designer.
So, to turn it back to Pound Cake, if they're opening at noon, that means that a hoe could not buy him drinks there at 8 a.m.
No, they could not.
Gotcha.
But he could show up there after a hoe buys him some 88.
You're going to
8
have
a.m.
to find
drinks,
another hoe
Yeah.
to get you some drinks, Pound Cake.
Ain't yo ho no mo.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys watch Squid Game when it was on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed Squid Game.
I
And then
bailed. It didn't
I liked
interest
Squid Game, and then I really liked the reality show
I was
version.
gonna say
I
didn't
like
know
that
which
a
one you were
lot.
talking
The
about.
competition show was great, but I bailed out of Squid Game because I just thought it was really boring. But for people who are familiar with Squid Game, spoiler alert, wasn't it that the old guy was like the guy? Is that
Yeah.
how that culminates, right?
Yeah, like he was in the game, and then they find out that he was actually the one
There you go.
orchestrating everything.
Well, the actor's name is Oh Young-soo. He was the old guy in Squid Game, and he's going to prison.
Oh.
Because he was convicted of sexual misconduct. Now, if you know what this guy looks like, he looks really creepy. He looks like a creepy old dude. And so, judging a book by its cover. And again, I don't know anything else the guy has done. Maybe he's a very accomplished actor there in Korea or something, but I only know him from Squid Game. But he was convicted of sexual misconduct, hugging and kissing a woman on the cheek. This is how they do in Korea. And this is South Korea, I assume.
Yeah.
And that he hugged and kissed a woman on the cheek against her wishes.
Hugging, kissing, squeezing.
Yeah. It didn't like it at all.
Her boss hugged her and squeezed her breasts, which felt sexual in nature, not like a greeting.
Right.
I love breasts.
I don't know. Boy, I do too. They're great. I don't know if this Korean woman put Lindy Korn on retainer. I didn't see that as part of the story.
My client complained to HR that her boss asked her for sexual favors, and when she said no, he said, "Relax, enjoy it." Does this sound familiar? If so, call the law office of Lindy Korn.
Be funny if somebody was watching that and goes, "That does sound familiar. I say that to all my employees." 79-year-old guy was charged over allegations that he hugged a woman and kissed her on the cheek. He is getting 8 months in prison. He, of course, denied the charges and said that he would appeal. Part of his sentence is he has to attend a 40-hour sexual offender treatment program. Meanwhile, here in the good old U.S. of A., we're not doing anything even remotely close to that for people who hug and kiss someone on the cheek. He said that he held a woman's hand to guide her around a lake.
Everyone over there, even the charges sound more polite in Korea against her wishes.
That's just how that's how the story's written.
I understand, but it's like against her will. That's like the image is, you're in a cage and you're held against your will. But against my wish, I do not wish to hold you right now. I do not wish to do that. Like it's just the language that they use is a lot nicer.
They consulted the woman's diary as part of the prosecution against the guy, I guess. Imagine putting that in your diary.
Someone did against my wishes.
He hugged me and kissed me on my cheek without my consent. Well, listen, consent is everything.
People can write anything in a diary, though. I don't know how credible that is.
Well, maybe they do things differently over in Korea. They clearly do, because this guy's getting 8 months for a hug and a kiss on the cheek. But nevertheless, that's why, you got to be, anywhere you are, you got to be really, really careful. Really careful. And you'll hear people go, "You can't even do anything anymore." But just, you don't have to be, why you have to be touching people that you barely know? Just don't touch people you barely know. Just don't touch them. You see those photos of people taking pictures of Keanu Reeves, and his hands are like hovering over their shoulders. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Yeah, you want a picture with me? Cool. I'm not
touching anybody.
I'm not putting my arms around your waist." Talking about female fans. I'm not putting my arms on your shoulders. I mean, I don't even do that. If a female wants a photo with me, we're probably all like this. If a female wants a photo with me, I don't wrap my arm around her. I either kind of...
I go like over shoulders.
Yeah, a little bit. I might hold my arm behind her back so that it looks normal in the photo. I don't want it,
When they want a picture,
I don't want anybody to look weird, but I'm not, back in the day, boy... There were people taking photos of people in this business, and they'd be like, finger in the coin slot
right.
while they were doing. I was like, bro, that's what got that dude in trouble with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
At DJ out in Denver. It torpedoed his entire career. And that was not even when she was at the peak of her powers.
Right.
That was like 8 years ago. Imagine if he'd done that now, they would have chopped his friggin' hand off like it was in the Taliban. They would have thrown him off a building. So this guy in Korea there that everybody over here, I bet, only knows from Squid Game, he has been an actor for more than 50 years in Korea. He's played King Lear. I'm not going to make the joke. I'm not going to make the joke.
Yeah.
But he's very accomplished over there in Korea. But the old guy from Squid Game, convicted of sexual misconduct. Over here, you read something like that, and it's usually something really egregious. At least it's something that involves penetration of some kind.
Or like
Either digital
groping,
or
like,
groping.
You know, but this a kiss on the cheek. They take it serious.
Mm-hmm. Richard Dawson would have been put to death.
I know, right?
That's another thing, too. Back in the day, he was kissing all the women, and it was a different time. Alan, who scores those Lindy Corn commercials? They're so intense. I guess I didn't pay that close attention to the music.
Her boss hugged her and squeezed her breasts, which felt sexual in nature, not like a greeting.
Oh, yeah, it's like big piano stabs, dramatic piano stabs.
Hey, you got to sell it.
And people trying to get me to get Pound Cake hip to all the Bibby Bops on the West Side, by the way. Well,
that was a bad example. But there's
well, give me a good example.
I don't remember all
You
of
said
them.
the East Side's great because they have all these food franchises
They
that
do.
aren't on the West Side.
They do.
And then you throw out Bibby
Bibby
Bop,
Bop.
and there's like half a dozen of them on the West Side.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Well, give me one.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I was just over there the other day, and I was like, wow, y'all have a lot of businesses that are like brand spanking new franchises that they're not on the West Side yet. Maybe they're coming, but there's far more businesses, far more diversity in terms of food choices and different types of food on the East Side than the West Side. There just is. There's more
I mean,
money on the
I
East Side.
can't argue because, again, I get to the
Because you-
East Side almost never. So,
And he's also giving us no examples.
I don't have it. I don't have an example. People on the East Side can tell you.
Right.
But what I find funny is the West Side and East Side can have their respective lanes, and they don't have to intersect. Like people who, unless they're working, they don't have to go to the East Side for anything. There's nothing. Like they can just live over here, and they have their own little environment, and then the East Side, they don't have to cross over.
Well, what do you mean have to? I mean, there's really, because there's no easy way to do it, for one thing. I mean, if there was a beltway in this town or something where you could kind of get from one side to the other, I think that would be a good thing. But people really have kind of planted their flags in what side of the city they're from.
Well,
And as somebody from the outside, I guess the analog for me is north side, south side Chicago. But again, it's very easy to get from one side to the next. Whereas here, it's going to take you a minute. But I also,
but it
I'm a big
also
fan. I'm a big
depends-
fan of the scenic route.
If it depends on which part. Like you can get to Willoughby pretty quick.
yes, you can.
Like Willoughby's
straight up the highway.
Yeah.
too.
I mean, that's an easy drive.
But like I'm talking like a Beechwood and an Orange,
Yeah.
or like a lot of older roads, a lot of older routes, and they again, it's just those were there first, so everything just kind of formed around those areas.
Well, a lot of them didn't want the highway because they were like, "This is the community. We're gonna be. We don't want the highways."
Yeah. Don't want a major
Nearby.
artery cutting
Yeah.
through our town.
And again, I don't know. I know Cleveland's a big-ish city, but what is the point of the express lane for people that are going slow and they just want to get there faster? Like there's not that much traffic for there to be an
Well,
express
lane.
express lanes are pretty standard. I
And
mean,
it also, if you're driving during rush hour, it comes in
Yeah.
quite handy.
Okay. Well, I guess I never really drive through rush hour.
But I was making fun of that because they put that one
It
new
was-
express lane on 480 right after 77, after it, like by Independence,
Yeah.
and it's like
They were-
it's like 400 yards.
But they
It's
were
like get in this express lane. Like now it's over.
But they were working on that for years.
You know, go express for one exit. You miss one exit.
That's what I'm saying. They were working
know,
on that for
it's-
years, and it
it's
was all
hilarious.
congested. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. Like, what is this gonna be? Express lane, and then you do it, and it's over with. I'm like, okay. Like, when's the last time we've been backed up bumper to bumper, and everyone was going the same direction for a certain period of time? Not that often.
yeah, but
unless
a
there's
lot
an
of
accident.
but a lot of times,
Already gets backed up every day.
a lot of times, reworking roadways is a precursor to them. There's going to be new construction around them,
Right.
and they're like, there's going to be heavier traffic here.
Sure, and notice it's going to the east side, not the west side.
It may be.
There's
But
more
again,
money over there.
I like being, sometimes here's what I'll do. Sometimes I'll just pack a picnic basket, right? I'll load the family into the car, and we'll just go post up at like East 152 in Aspinwall. And we'll just get out, and we'll sit there and just have a time. Watch the world go by. See what happens.
And people say you don't embrace Cleveland.
Of course I do. It's always good to see, areas of the city that you're not normally exposed to. Did Pound Cake just discover that Cleveland is split between East and West? No, of course not. I mean, he's been out here his whole life. He can't wait to get out of Cleveland. He said it very publicly. I can't wait to get out of this place. Now, all evidence to the contrary, but I take him at his word. Hey, Walter.
Hi, this is Walter. What's
hey,
going
Walter.
on? Is Mary on the show today? She's not, is she?
No, Mary's in Minneapolis this weekend.
Oh, I just realized I hadn't heard her voice yet. Anyways, I live in Euclid, right? I was listening to the radio, and I was like, you guys must be retards because about coming over here to the east side. It's not that hard to get here. I mean, I work downtown, and I'm on the east side in like 15 minutes, and Lakewood's just another 10 minutes the other way.
Well, yeah, anything that's off of 90 is easy to get to. I think we're talking more about Beechwood. Well, not even Beechwood's that hard, but Shaker and Cleveland Heights are a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say, too. Shaker, that's the worst. It's like 30 minutes almost to the freeway in Shaker. I worked there for like 7 years. I hated it.
Well, then you are on our side.
What do you do now, Walter?
I'm a building engineer downtown. I take care of one of the sky rises.
You're not working with the mentally challenged, I assume.
The people I work with might be working with me mentally challenged, but no.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Walter. I appreciate it. There's Walter, who's
Calling us R-tard.
he's throwing it around, hot and heavy, boy.
He was embodied by the spirit of Jenna.
Oh, Jenna. R.I.P., baby girl. I got a break. You want those Mammoth WVH tickets? It's Wolfie Van Halen. He's on the road.